So now, before going for numerical example, first we will discuss the steps for the solution for the analysis of bar structure using steepness matrix method. Okay. So now steps for the solution we will discuss with the help of one simple example. If you consider one bar structure having two members, if you consider this bar structure having two members, this is member 1 and this is member 2, okay, subjected to some forces. Let us assume one force is acting here, let it be force P1 and this is force P2, okay. Area of cross-sectional area of this bar structure will be given to you, length of both the members will be given to you, as well as modulus of elasticity is also given to you. So A1, L1, E1, A1, L1, E1 will be given to you. Similarly, this A2, L2 and E2 will also given to you. This will be given data. Now question will be, analyze the given bar structure using steepness matrix method. Okay. So step number 1. Step 1 in the solution is find out total degrees of freedom in the bar structure. Degrees of freedom means kinematic indeterminacy of the given bar structure. Okay, that is the first step. Total DOF. DOF stands for degrees of freedom. Okay, which is also called as kinematic indeterminacy. Now, if you look at the bar structure, or if you remember your problems of bar assembly in strength of material, bar is always subjected to axial forces like P1 and P2. So when you apply this force P1 and P2, the bar will either elongate or compress. Elongate means there will be an increase in length or decrease in length. But when bar structure is subjected to axial forces, each point of the bar will move only horizontally. It may be towards right or left, depending on how the force is applied. But the displacement at any point is one, and that is axial displacement. Okay. Now since we are dealing with the steepness matrix method, and steepness matrix deals with the kinematic indeterminacy of the structure, and kinematic indeterminacy we are taking at the nodal joints only. Joints where two members are connected or end of the member. So we are considering kinematic unknowns at only joints, not at any point. Okay, so very first step is if you identify number of joints in the given bar structure. Okay, so if number of members are 2, number of joints will be 3. Which 3 joints? This is first joint, second joint and third joint. There are 3 joints. Okay, so when you apply this force, on these two members will elongate. Elongate means this point will move horizontally towards right, and this point will also move horizontally towards right. It means these joints are subjected to horizontal displacement. So that horizontal displacement is called as kinematic unknown. Okay. So remember now, in bar structure, each joint is subjected to one displacement, and that is horizontal displacement. Okay. So how many joints are there? There are 3 joints. So there will be 3 displacements. Okay, so let us assume those displacements are U1, U2 and U3. 3 joints, 3 displacements. U represent for a horizontal displacement, 1, 2, 3 represent joint number. So U1, U2, U3 are the displacements at 3 joints. So total degrees of freedom are 3, is 3, that is U1, U2, U3. Okay, that is step number 1. Then step number 2. Step number 2, we have to prepare one table. That table includes member, AE by L, displacements and boundary conditions. Like this, in step number 2, you have to prepare one table. Okay. Now first column represent the member. It means divide the given bar assembly into number of members. It may be 2, 3 or 4 depending on number of members connected in series. In this problem there are 2 members. There are few problems where 3 members are connected together, 4 members connected together. So depending on number of members connected, you divide the given bar structure into number of members. So here number of members will be 1 and 2. Then A by L. A represent cross sectional area, E represent modulus of elasticity, and L represent length of that member. So that will be given to you, A1, L1, E1. So A1 into L1 divided by E1. A1, E1 divided by L1. Like this you have to calculate A by L term. That is A2, E2 upon L2. If there is a third member, then A3, E3 upon L3. Like this, find out A by L of each member separately. Okay. Then in the third column, you have to write down displacements. Displacements means now, if you look at the member 1, in member 1 there are 2 joints, joint number 1 and joint number 2, which represent the displacements U1 and U2. So displacements in member 1 are U1, U2. One important point, you please make note of that. Always write down left displacement first and then right displacement. Because if you refer our previous video where we have determined the stiffness matrix of bar element, in that we have considered U1 on the left joint and U2 on the right joint. So always the first column of stiffness matrix is corresponding to left joint and second column is corresponding to right joint. And that's why I always make a habit to write down left displacement first, U1, and then right displacement, U2. Okay. So first member represent U1, U2. Similarly, second member represent U2, U3. Left end is U2 and right end is U3. Okay. Next, boundary conditions. Now, boundary conditions means out of 3 displacements, U1, U2, U3 displacements, which displacements are known to us. So if you look at the bar member, left end of the bar is fixed. If left end is fixed, fixed support means there is no displacement. All displacements are 0. Okay. So U1 is equal to 0. U1 is equal to 0, it is known to us. Okay, so that will be used as a boundary condition. So U1 is a part of first member. U1 is a part of first member. So write down that U1 equal to 0. In the first member, that is a boundary condition. Okay. If suppose if you fix this, if you fix the right end also, then there will be one more boundary condition. U3 equal to 0. Okay. Remember, sometimes instead of fixed support, hinge support is also used in the bar structure. but hinge support is also represent that there is no displacement. Okay, hinge and spring, if any one support is provided in the bar assembly, displacement is always 0 at that point. Okay, so here if it is fixed, u1 equal to 0, suppose if you fix the right hand also, then u3 is also equal to 0. There will be only one unknown, u2. Okay, and if you remove this fixed support, now there will be two unknowns, u2 and u3. Okay, so write down your boundary condition, u1 equal to 0 and u2 and u3. u2 and u3 we have to determine. So there are two displacements which need to be determined. Out of 3, u1 equal to 0 and 2 need to be determined. So that is step number 2. Once you prepare this table, then in step number 3, you have to find out stiffness matrix. You have to find out member stiffness matrix. Stiffness matrix for each member, one by one. Okay. To determine the stiffness matrix, we have to use standard stiffness matrix. That is K is equal to A by L minus A by L minus A by L and plus A by L. This is standard stiffness matrix of the bar element. So this standard stiffness matrix we have to use for each member now. So if you look at the member 1, what is it? A by L, A1 equal upon L1. So A by L of member 1, put that here, plus A by L minus A by L minus A by L plus A by L. So whatever value you will get here, for example, if this A by L calculation for first member is 20, if it is 20, then this K1 will be equal to 20 minus 20 minus 20 and plus 20. This will be the stiffness matrix of member 1. Similarly, this is suppose 30. A by L for second member is 30. Then K2 will be equal to 30 minus 30 minus 30 plus 30. This will be stiffness matrix of member 2. So like this in step number 3, find out member stiffness matrices. Depending on number of members, K1, K2, K3, K4, whatever number of members are connected in the bar assembly, those stiffness matrices you have to calculate. Okay? So now, like this if you calculate stiffness matrices, step number 4 is step number 4. Step number 4 is global stiffness matrix. Global stiffness matrix. Okay. Now global stiffness matrix is nothing but stiffness matrix for the whole bar assembly. Okay, for the whole bar structure. You have to write down this stiffness matrix. This is for each member separately, K1 and K2. But global stiffness matrix is for combinedly for whole bar structure. Now what will be the size of this global stiffness matrix? Size is equal to size of global stiffness matrix is equal to total degrees of freedom of the bar structure. How many unknowns are there in this bar? There are 3 unknowns, u1, u2, u3. 3 displacements. Total DOF are 3. So size of global stiffness matrix will be 3 by 3. Size of global stiffness matrix will be 3 by 3. Okay. Now before this, there is one more point, that in element stiffness matrices or member stiffness matrix, member is also called as element. So it is also called as element stiffness matrices or member stiffness matrices. So in member stiffness matrix, there is important thing is that on the top and right of this stiffness matrix, you have to write down corresponding displacements. So that is the most important step in the analysis of any structure using stiffness matrix method. On the top and right, write down corresponding displacements. So K1 is the stiffness matrix of first member. So first member represent the displacements U1 and U2. First member represent displacements U1 and U2. So first column of the stiffness matrix is always corresponding to left joint. Left joint represent the displacement U1. So here it is U1, and on the second column write down U2. Always write down left displacement as a first column and then write displacement U2. Same write down on the right part of stiffness matrix. Same write down on the right part of stiffness matrix U1, U2. Similarly, if you look at the second member, left end is U2 and right end is U3. So on the top of this stiffness matrix, write down U2 and U3. Write down U2 and U3. Okay? So this is important step in the member stiffness matrix. Always write down on the top and right corresponding displacements. Now after that, if you see this step number 4, that is global stiffness matrix. Size of global stiffness matrix is equal to total number of unknowns. U1, U2, U3 means 3 unknown, 3 by 3. So on the top, first write down all 3 displacements. On the top, write down U1, U2, U3. Similarly, on the right part of matrix, write down U1, U2, U3. U1, U2, U3. Like this, now prepare first matrix. Now we have to calculate these elements. You have to calculate all these elements. Now how to calculate these elements? If you want to calculate this first element, look at the corresponding position. What is the position of this element? In terms of displacement, it is column represent U1 and row U1. So U1, U1 corresponding position. We have to see that corresponding element in these two matrices. Which element is having this position? U1, U1. Okay, so if you look at these two matrices, this U1, U1 means this 20, U1, U1. There is no other combination of U1, U1 out of these two. So there is only one combination present in the first stiffness matrix. Magnitude is 20. Magnitude is 20. Okay. So this is first element. Now second element. This U2 and this U1 means column U2 and row U1. Look at this combination in these two matrices. Column U2 and row U1. So column U2 and row U1 means this element minus 20 U2 U1. There is no other combination. There is no U2 U1 in this matrix. There is only one element again, minus 20. Okay. Now third, U3 U1. Column U3 row U1. Look at this combination. There is U1 here, but no U3. There is U3 here, but no U1. It means this U3 U1 combination is not present in both the matrices. So this element will be equal to 0. Right? This is first row. We know that stiffness matrix is always symmetric matrix. Symmetric matrix means upper triangle and lower triangle of matrix is always same. Or in other way you can say that in a symmetric matrix, first row is equal to first column. So this first row becomes first column. First row becomes first column because it is symmetric matrix. Now we have to find out this element. What is the position of this element? U2, U2. Column U2, row U2. So U2, U2 combination. Look at the first matrix. U2, U2 combination. U2 and U2. This is 20 in first matrix. Look at the second matrix. There is also one more combination. U2, U2. U2, U2, 30. So there are two elements corresponding to U2, U2 position. One is 20, second is 30. So we have to add these two elements. So 20 plus 30 is equal to 50. 20 from first matrix, 30 from second matrix. Then next element, column U3, row U2. Column U3, row U2. This combination is not present in first matrix, but it is present in second matrix. Minus 30. U3, U2. So it is minus 30. Again, since stiffness matrix is symmetric matrix, this element and this element will be same. Second row equal to second column. Second row equal to second column. Now last element, that is U3, U3 combination. U3, U3 combination. It is not present in first matrix. It is present in second matrix. U3, U3. U3, U3 means 30. So like this you have to find out the global stiffness matrix in the given bar assembly. That is step number 4. Okay. Once you get the global stiffness matrix, step number 5 is to find out reduced stiffness matrix. Step number 5U is to find out reduced stiffness matrix. Reduced stiffness matrix means now after imposing the boundary condition, this matrix it is developed for the whole bar assembly without considering any boundary condition. We have not taken into account the fixed support in this matrix. But now, since we know that in a boundary condition, left joint number 1 is fixed and U1 equal to 0. So if you impose this boundary condition, U1 equal to 0 in this matrix, if U1 equal to 0, eliminate row and column corresponding to U1. Eliminate row and column corresponding to U1 from the global stiffness matrix because U1 equal to 0 boundary condition because left hand is fixed. So if you eliminate this, remaining stiffness matrix is called as reduced stiffness matrix. Remaining stiffness matrix is 20 plus 30, 50. Minus 30 plus 30. Corresponding displacements are U2, U3 and U2, U3. So these are the corresponding displacement. So after global stiffness matrix, find out reduced stiffness matrix. One more thing, remember that global stiffness matrix is not mandatory to write down in examination. Unless and until it is mentioned in the statement that write down global stiffness matrix, don't write down global stiffness matrix. So after step number 3, member stiffness matrices, directly you can write down this step instead of this global stiffness matrix. Okay, you can directly write down step number 5 as a step number 4. If it is not mentioned in the statement, write down global stiffness matrix, don't write down global stiffness matrix because global stiffness matrix takes lot of time to write down in examination. Okay, so unless and until it is required, don't write down that global. Directly we can write down this reduced stiffness matrix. And the way we collected the elements of global, you collect the elements corresponding to U2, U3 only, because we know that already U1 equal to 0. Okay, so like this you can perform step number 5 as a step number 4, and you can skip step number 4 from the solution. Now once you get this reduced stiffness matrix K, last step, is step number 6, that is compatibility condition. Compatibility condition, that is K into delta is equal to F, where K is equal to reduced stiffness matrix. So write down that 2 by 2. Write down that 2 by 2 matrix, K, reduced stiffness matrix. Delta is equal to vector of unknowns. Vector of unknowns, unknowns are final. U2 and U3 are the final unknowns. So 2 by 2 reduced stiffness matrix, then delta equal to U2, U3 equal to force vector, There will be two elements, F1 and F2. There will be two force elements. First element is corresponding to U2 and second element is corresponding to U3. Force corresponding to U2 means U2 is a displacement at second joint. So you have to see that is there any horizontal force acting at joint 2. If you look at this figure, there is a P1 towards right, it is plus. So the force corresponding to U2 is P1. Force corresponding to U2 is P1. Towards right, positive. If it is towards left, it is minus. Similarly, U3 is a displacement at joint 3. So is there any force at joint 3? Yes, P2 towards right, positive. Remember, if there is no force, then this element will be 0. If there is no force on the joint, that element in the force vector will be 0 force. Okay? So like this, K into delta equal to F. You have to write down the final compatibility condition. Now you will get these two equations, two unknowns. If you solve that two equations, two unknowns in your calculator, you will get the final answers of U2 and U3. Okay? Like this you can solve the problems of bar structures if 3 members, 4 members or 8 number of members are connected. Okay? Of course in your syllabus it is written that you are having problems not more than 3 unknowns. So maximum unknowns in bar problem will be equal to 3. Okay? So this is the steps for the solution of bar assembly using stiffness matrix method. Right? So you please go through the video again and again and try to understand these steps for the solution. In the next class, we will solve one actual numerical example to understand the steps of solution or how to analyze the bar assembly using stiffness matrix method. Okay? So thank you very much.